Hey everyone, today we're diving into one of the most innovative games I have ever played, and its name is Schim. This game might not be on everyone's radar, but trust me, it's one you don't want to miss. So, should you spend your hard-earned money on it? Stick around and let's find out together. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, here's what you need to know. Schim is a casual adventure puzzle game that blends gorgeous, simple visuals and easy gameplay mechanics in a way that will provide you with a beautiful adventure and a decent challenge. But what makes it truly stand out is how unique and fresh moving through the game world feels. At a certain point you even start thinking like a shadow, well, if there is such thing. Ready to dive deeper? Let's break it down. First impressions are everything, right? Schim starts strong with introducing you to the game world and the main character, who is basically a small shadow. You get to explore the controls and will quickly realize that although the idea is simple, it's definitely possible that this gameplay can be used for some very challenging puzzles. The art style immediately grabbed my attention with its less is more approach. Schim kept the visuals simple while also making them beautiful and relaxing. But it's not just about looks. Schim also hits the ground running with its gameplay, introducing shadow movement and interaction with objects by throwing you right into some puzzles designed to teach you the basics. But does it keep up the momentum? Let's move on. Let's talk story. Schim takes place in what looks like a pretty normal world, pretty close to the world you and I live in. The color scheme used is very abstract, subtle and relaxing, which gives the world a very soothing feel to it. The developers did an amazing job crafting a world that feels recognizable, but still unique in its own way. The story itself revolves around a small shadow, or perhaps shadow creature is a more accurate term. This little guy is a schim, which is a Dutch word that literally translates into shadow. In this world, most shadows of both humans and objects are inhabited by a schim, or are a schim. Bigger objects like trucks also have bigger schims. Your schim can move around, but he must stay in the shadow of its own human or in the shadow of other humans and objects. In the first part of the story, you follow your human around while he grows up, transitioning from a young kid all the way into adulthood and working at an office. This is where disaster hits. Through an unfortunate set of events, you are separated from your human. Now it's up to you to find a way to reunite with him. The story is simple, but there is more emphasis on puzzle solving in most of the game. However, I think that story fits the game just fine. It doesn't need to be an overly complex story, and in this way it can be cozy and relaxing. Alright, now we get into the gameplay, the heart of any game. Schim features puzzles that can be solved by jumping from shadow to shadow. The trick is that you have to choose the correct route. In some of the shadows you will also be able to interact with the object the shadow belongs to. Think of honking the horn of a car or changing the active light on a traffic light. Some objects also enable you to jump higher and further than you normally can by acting as a sort of trampoline or slingshot. One thing I loved was that they appeared to be multiple ways to solve puzzles, depending on how creative you can get and how good you can keep an overview of the area. It's clear that the developers put a lot of thought into building the world of Schim and creating multiple paths to success. But it's not all perfect, of course. For instance, the checkpoints after a failure feel a bit inconsistent at times. Sometimes when you fail a jump and get caught in the light, you reset to the nearest stationary shadow, while other times you reset almost to the beginning of the area. This makes completing some puzzle sequences more critical than others, because the reset will be more punishing. Still, this does not affect the game too much, and for 99% it's a smooth and enjoyable experience. So, you've played through Schim. What's next? When it comes to replayability, Schim could be a really good candidate for speedrunning. Finding the best routes to solve puzzles, or perhaps discovering new routes you didn't notice before. Whether you're a completionist who wants to find all the collectibles and earn all the Steam achievements, or just someone who loves a good challenge, there's definitely some good replayability here. So, what's the final verdict? If you're a fan of puzzles and platform games with a unique approach, this is a must-play. Schim delivers lots of enjoyment in a relaxing and cozy cool way. And while it's not perfect because of the minor inconsistencies with checkpoints, it's definitely worth your time. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on more cool indie game content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.